Welcome to the Mayanot moment. The Torah is absolutely precise in every single detail, and therefore it's possible to learn very deep, profound lessons from even seemingly innocuous ideas in Torah. Like, for example, the name of a parsha. And the name of this week's parsha is Tzav. Tzav means command. It's the root of the word mitzvah. It means commandment. And most people have heard the idea that the concept of a commandment, of a mitzvah, is the idea of tzavtza v'chibur, a bond, a connection, that the mitzvah creates a connection between a Jew and Hashem. Like, for example, a pauper and a king. The pauper in his life, what connection could he possibly have to a great, powerful, wealthy king? But if the king would give a special mission, a special commandment, ask a request of this pauper, so then that request and the fulfillment, the pauper's fulfillment of that request creates a bond, a connection between this simple person and this great and powerful king. But Chassidus comes and explains this concept on a much, much deeper level. First of all, appreciate the distance between Hashem and a person, and a human being. There's absolutely no point of connection between Boira, the creator, and the Nivra, the creation. They're be'ena roich, incommensurate to one another. To explain this idea, the Alter Rebbe gives the example of the difference between the realm of intellect and the realm of touch. That an idea which is grasped with the mind is a spiritual, ethereal concept. It's impossible to grasp, it's impossible to touch with the tactile sensation in your fingers, right? Physical things which occupy space are possible to touch. Ethereal, spiritual ideas are not possible to touch. The concept 1 + 1 = 2 doesn't exist anywhere in physical space. It exists in a spiritual plane. It's eternal, it's unchanging, and it's definitely impossible to touch with your fingers. Furthermore, the physical world, the tangible world, and the world of ideas have absolutely no bearing on one another. They don't illustrate anything about one another. For example, no matter how simple an idea is, it doesn't become any more tangible to touch with your fingers than the most deep and most complex idea. So we see, if this is the great distance, this is the great difference between two realms, the realm of intellect and the realm of touch, which are both physical and which are both created, how much more so is the difference, is the infinite gap between creator and creation, such that there's absolutely no point of connection, point of correlation between the two. What is it that binds the creator to the creation? It's the mitzvah. But what the Rebbe explains is that, different to the way most people understand the concept, it's not that when a person fulfills the mitzvah, that carries out the act, the commandment, that binds him to the commander of the mitzvah, to Hashem. But the very fact that he's commanded already connects a Jew to Hashem. And this is the meaning of the expression of our sages, Yisrael, afal pi shechata Yisraelhu. That a Jewish person, even though he sinned, he's still called Yisrael, he's still called a Jew. Why? Because the chait, the very fact that we define him as a sinner, is only because he has a connection to Hashem, being that he's commanded. If he wouldn't be commanded, his transgression of the commandment wouldn't be considered a sin. A non-Jew who transgresses one of the mitzvahs of the Torah isn't considered to be a sinner, because he was never initially commanded, he never initially had that connection. So therefore, Yisrael, afal pi shechata, even though he sinned, he remains a Yisrael. And as the Rebbe points out, the Rebbe quotes from the Megalei Amukas, the old Kabbalah Sefer, the revealer of profundities, that the name Yisrael is a Rosh Tevis, Yesh Shishim Revoi Oisias B'Torah. There are 600,000 letters in a Sefer Torah, one corresponding to each Jewish neshama. That a Yid, even though he sins, he's still called Yisrael. Why? Because he's still rooted in the Torah. He's still commanded. Hashem is looking for something from him. Hashem is asking him for something. And that commandment is what binds him to Hashem. Have a good Shabbos.